everyone I train doesn't have a gift in speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you can't learn the art of speaking.
Let's talk about it.
But when you have a gift in speaking, you can't be touched.
Mm.
That's why you can send me to any country, any arena, technology, no technology, lighting, no lighting,
Mm-hmm.
microphone,
No
no microphone.
microphone.
It don't matter. As long as I got my voice, I'ma have impact. And not everyone can deliver. Some people need the gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need a presentation behind them.
Mm-hmm. They
Some
need
people
the
need a
smoke.
microphone. Some people need the
They
smoke.
need the smoke.
I don't need no smoke.
Hey.
The smoke come out my mouth.
Hey,
You know what
come
I'm
on, bring
saying?
the fire. Welcome to Visible Secrets. I'm so glad that you are joining us, and we're going to sit here, we're going to chop it up, and we're going to talk about our pains, we're going to talk about our purpose, and how the purpose and the pain collides, that we can build a strategy to build our brand. So we're glad that you're here, and we have a phenomenal guest today, and I think we're going to have a good time, a really, really good time. So, sir, please introduce yourself and let us know what you do and how you impact the world.
Okay, cool. So what's up, my people? I
What
go
up,
by the
what up,
name of
what up?
Mr. Beezy. I'm an international motivational speaker and public
Mm-hmm.
speaking coach, and I impact the world by literally transforming mindsets, which leads to you transforming your life.
Okay, because
Mhm.
we want transformed lives
That's right.
around here. So where are you based?
So I'm based in London, or some other people call it Essex, but I'm on the south side of the UK.
That's South Side. Okay, all right. But of London, where is that? Is that
So
south of
on
London?
London, it will be more East London sort of
Oh,
area.
okay. So that's your stomping ground,
That's right.
but you're international.
I'm international.
We love that.
Yes.
We love that. All right, so let's talk about your story because you know, you're doing great things now, which is we thank God for that. But we've all gone through some things that has helped us, if it then becomes the stepping stone for us to get to where it is that we desire to go in life. So what was the struggle for you? What was your experience? Whether it was in your childhood, as a young adult, that has really pushed you in this direction of motivational speaking?
So it's crazy that you asked that because I never wanted to be a motivational speaker. So I'll tell you my story, right?
Yeah, please
So
do.
I'm on like a Skype. So this is how you know it's ancient
Wow.
Skype Bible study with like some of the young adults at my church at the time. And I remember at the time I was working a job from the job center, right? So they had me on this contract job for 6 months, and I've got about 2 to 3 weeks left that my contract's done. So I actually don't know what I'm going to be doing after that. And one of my friends says to me privately, messages me, "Do you have a job?" And I don't know why. I was just like, "No," right? And
But
she's like, "Oh, I've got this perfect job for you."
but did you?
So my contract was running to an end. So technically I had a job, but I
Okay.
didn't have a job, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Right?
I'm with you.
So she was like, "Oh,
We're
I've got,"
self-employed.
yeah, you know. so she was like, "All right, I've got this job that I think you'd be really good at." So she was the admin for a company at the time that sent speakers into like schools and
Oh, okay.
stuff like that. So I was just like, I don't know. I said,
Wait
I've
a
preached a
minute.
couple of times in church, and the youth, they fill with the Holy Ghost. So I know that, they're gonna receive what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I say, if you're gonna speak in schools
Schools.
now, public schools, where it's not like Christian related, and these kids got attitude, I said, listen, I'm a work in
Enough.
progress, so I might cuss someone out. I don't know, right? So
How this gonna work?
but I said to her, okay, cool, I'll come along and check it out.
Okay.
And honestly, the first 2 speakers that I went to go and see and observe, they motivated me.
Wow.
Like, they got me really thinking about my life and what I want to do. And then on the flip side, I looked at it as a speaker. I was like, I can see myself doing what you guys are doing.
Wow.
You guys are having fun, you're impacting people, and you're traveling across the country. I said, yeah, sign me up for that. And the interesting thing is, although I had that mindset and approach to it, it took me about 2 years of speaking frequently, week in, week out, to really identify that God had given me a gift in speaking. And it was 2 years into speaking when I started taking speaking seriously.
Oh, wow. 2 years in. Okay, so with the experience of being in the schools and such like that, and those schools were in the UK, right? That
Yes.
was all happening here. This is where it all started. For you as a teenager, when you went to school, Were you receptive to those things? Like, what was your life like as a teenager?
So the crazy thing is, like, it never really happened when I was a teenager, and that's something I always tell the young people today. Like, I wish I had someone like me
Mm-hmm.
come and speak to me
Wow.
and like speak the language that I understand and I can receive.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the issues with the young people is they disconnect from adults because they don't relate to them.
Mm-hmm.
They feel that they don't have things in common with them, whereas I come and I talk on a level. I talk your language, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
man, like, oh, this is an eye opener for me. So I didn't even have enough of it, I would say. So I
Wow.
wish I had someone like me. So for me doing it, I understand the impact it could have had on me. And I make sure that when I go in, look, I ain't gonna patronize you.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna be too cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna talk on your level, keep it real with you
Mm-hmm.
so that you can receive what I'm saying.
Good stuff. What were some of the struggles that you went through growing up, whether as a teenager in your young adult years, that is now something that is part of your testimony?
Oh gosh. Um,
Yeah, we're gonna unpack.
we're going, yeah, I can
Yeah, we're
see that.
gonna unpack.
I can see that. Do you know what? I would say just falling into the wrong crowd, man.
Mm,
I've always been someone who's been very popular in school, in university. Like I was the
mm.
most popular guy in my university.
You're charismatic, sir.
You know? So I've always had like attention kind of thing, and
Okay.
that comes with every type of attention, good and bad,
Yeah.
right? So I would, especially I would say my most challenging season was probably when I was at university, because this was the first time in my life where I'd experienced full independence from my family. You know, I
Mm,
went to university,
freedom.
yell freedom, right? So I
So
went
you got
to
loose.
listen, I got loose,
Wow.
right?
Talk about it.
And it's like I went to university outside London because I always said if I'm gonna go university, I
Mm-hmm.
want the full sort of American
Experience.
experience where you know you go on,
Oh.
you live on campus, and
Okay. You in
you
the
know,
dorms and stuff like
yeah,
that.
all up in the dorms, right? So and the dorm that I stayed in was like on the main campus, so you know I was really in
Mm,
the mix, right?
okay.
And then so what happened was I just became like the go-to person for events. Because I was just a friendly person. So I'd introduce myself to people,
Okay.
ask them what they were doing, say, hey, come and chill with us. So I built a reputation of just that's the guy you want to be with, or
Mm.
that's the guy that you know you want to hang around with. And even in my first week of university, people like, we ain't going to events unless he's going. And that's my first week,
Wow.
right?
You made a statement.
Oh, I made a statement, right? And then what happens is, you know, so I live in East London, sort of Essex now, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
born and raised in North London, Tottenham, right?
Okay.
And if you
The
know
stomping
Tottenham,
ground.
yeah, my stomping ground,
Okay.
North London, born and bred.
I'm
So
really surprised that back then we didn't know each other because I
yeah,
was all in the streets,
yeah,
all in Edmonton,
yeah,
Tottenham.
yeah, Tottenham, man. So for me, being raised in the hood,
Mm,
essentially, man, it teaches you how to navigate life,
for real.
right? I saw many things from a young age, and it was just like that sort of struggle, seeing poverty. Like you walk down your high road just to go to the shop for your parents, and you're seeing poverty all around you, and you're
Yeah.
seeing people struggling. And I think that cultivated me.
Mm,
And what I mean by cultivated me, it gave me this mindset of I want more than this, right? So even when I was in university now, here's the challenging part, right? And I feel like a lot of men go through this, especially.
mm.
There's a pressure to provide,
Ooh.
right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at the time, my dad wasn't providing.
Okay.
So it was a season in my life where I think my dad hadn't been working for over 10 years. So my mum was the breadwinner. And it
Mm-hmm.
was a case where it got to a stage where my mum would need to, at times, borrow some money. I'm at university. I ain't working.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I can't, I don't have it in me to see my mum struggle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do what I need to do and I'm going to hustle.
Okay.
So that's when I got into the roads, well, we call it road
Mm-hmm.
kind of life, where people were
Street
showing me how
life.
to make that illegal money,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And that's like, yeah, I'm down. I'm a rider.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll do
Do
what
what
I
you
need
gotta
to
do.
do to provide for mum,
Yeah.
right? And it starts off like that a lot of the time. Good intentions, although you might not be doing it the best way, right?
Exactly.
But then you get caught up with lifestyle now
Mm-hmm.
because you're now seeing this money,
Yeah.
how easy
Your
you can
pockets is
make it,
laced.
right? And then you now you're able to afford certain items. you're able to go to the club and
bust it all.
buy a couple of bottles,
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
some
yeah.
tables, and
I get
you're
it.
getting some respect and attention. And when those things came with it, it was like, whoa, I like the way that makes me
You
feel.
feel.
So I
Don't
ain't
that
stopping.
sound like Satan?
Listen.
Goodness. How it make me feel. Yeah.
So I was like,
Gosh.
can't stop, won't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went down, I just got in very deep.
Wow.
Very deep, to the extent where it led to me getting arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my kind of wake up call that, whoa, what's going on? Like, you weren't raised like this.
Mm-hmm.
So the struggle was, I want to support my mum, but doing it the right way weren't enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have to, but I chose to do it the wrong way
It
because,
felt like that though.
because
Because I get that emotion of, man, I got to do something.
And I guess we grow up in a society where it's like, well, if no one's gonna provide for you, you got to do what you need to do to provide for yourself. If people ain't gonna bring you to the table, build your own table. And it was that kind of warrior mindset where that's what I mean. It cultivated me being from the hood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, we're survivors.
Yep.
We ain't gonna let any hard times break us. So that's why I was just prepared to do whatever I needed to do. And,
Wow.
that was a struggle because it was a season in my life where I was astray from God. But there was a part of me that was always still conscious of God.
Mm-hmm.
But even when I was doing what I was doing, there wasn't true gratification or satisfaction from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because deep down I was like, man, I'm sinning. But then there was a part of me just like, but I have to survive.
Yeah.
And that was a real struggle I had with my mind, like that conflict of both worlds. But because I didn't have anyone that was going to church around me, within my environment, within my circle, there was no one to pull me back in onto the right path. So it was
just kept going.
The floodgates were open. You just, unless you have it within you to snap out of it,
it takes a moment. It takes something major happening to shift things. So you mentioned that you got arrested. Are we talking about that, you had to do time? Is it that, you worked through the situation?
Yeah, man. And this is where my relationship with God, I remembered who God was real quick.
Yeah. Get me out of this.
Listen, Lord, if you're there, I promise I will never
do it again.
Yeah, so what happened was I got arrested twice in 3 months.
Wow.
So for the first time, it was having a fight outside a club. Second time was for fraud. Right? And the crazy thing about this story was I was meant to go London that weekend for my mum's birthday. And then my friend hits me up and say, hey, I've got this kind of move we can do. We can make some money. I was like, all right, say no more. I'm on it. I'm down. I phoned my mum, said, I can't make it anymore. But, I'll holler at you.
Yeah.
That weekend's the weekend I got arrested. So we did our move, whatever. Undercover police caught us.
Roped y'all up.
And we was arrested, right? And I was just like sitting in that police cell. What's going on with me?
Wow.
I said, I'm going so far down the wrong road that it's getting scary now.
Yeah.
Arrested twice in 3 months. I don't know what the outcome of this arrest is going to be because we live on CCTV. They've got all the evidence.
Wow.
And I remember being in my interview. So, I wasn't even clued up on interviews, because we've been doing that fraud for a solid year, haven't been caught. We didn't even come up with a story.
Wow.
So me and my friend got arrested together. And I remember just looking at him like,
what we gonna say?
like,
we ain't got no strategy for this.
Listen, they should give me a Netflix series because
I know I got one coming.
I was like, I don't know what we're gonna say. And it's too late to be like
trying to figure something out.
Do you understand? So I was just like, I was taken back a bit, I ain't gonna lie, right?
Yeah.
But you have that kind of I ain't the snitch, I'm a rider, so whatever the outcome is, I'm a hold it down kind of thing.
Okay.
And that was my approach to it. I'm gonna do what I need to do. Like, I'll take the consequences for my actions, essentially, right? And I remember being in my interview, they said to me, look, 2 things can happen today. They go, we can either let you off with a warning and give you a caution and give you a little fine, or you'll have to come to court tomorrow morning and plead guilty or not guilty. I said, whoa. I said, I need option one because if I go court, I'm finished. Because if I say I'm not guilty, I'm probably things will probably end up even worse because they know I'm lying. They've got CCTV evidence. If I say guilty, I'm admitting it, so I'm going down
Full ride.
regardless, right? So I was like, man, that option really don't work for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going back to my cell, and I call it those heartfelt prayers.
Because you desperate.
Listen,
There's nothing else. There's no one else.
what's that? What's the song say? When your back's against the wall, and it looks as if it was over. He made. I was like, yo, look, God, I promise, and you should even promise with God. But
You out here
I'm
making
letting you know, I'm
vows.
serious, vowing, right? I will turn away from this life if you get me out of this. Instantly, not in a week, not in a instantly. And I remember, let's say I got arrested at 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
Okay.
I got released 2 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
Right. And I promise you, the moment I got out the next day, the first thing I did was I phoned my older brother. I said, you need to come get me from here. And within 2 days, he came. Whatever of my stuff could fit into his car, I packed it, left half of my stuff there, and I never came
You
back.
was out.
I was out. And for me, that was a real turning point in my life.
Feds ain't come back for you?
I'm good. They
Well,
let
don't
me go.
finish. I mean, because sometimes they let people go and they come back.
No. I made sure they have a reason to come back,
Okay.
And so that was a real turning point for me.
Wow. Is this part of what you use in your keynote, in your talks when you're having these sessions with whether it's youth or even with adults? Like, is this something that you use in your material?
I think sometimes, if I feel like it's relevant,
Okay.
because I think a part of me doesn't want to glorify it too
Mm-hmm,
much,
mm-hmm.
So I try to use wisdom when I share that sort of aspect of my story.
Got it.
Like I won't just share it for the sake of, hey man, I used to be in. If it's relevant and I
Mm-hmm.
see that I've got some people in the audience that are kind of having the same struggles, then I
Yeah.
want to let them know there's light at the end of the tunnel.
That's
And
good.
I'll share my story. But if it's not relevant, then I won't necessarily share it.
Is it something that drives you to go in the direction that you're going now? That you went so far left that now you stay right?
Yeah, and I just think that I want to show people that you can be successful the right way.
Okay.
Like that sort of money, because I think a lot of people is like, well, I'll never make this money in a job, in a real job, in a 9 to 5, or etc. etc. So I'm gonna show you can make that money and do it the right way. Because I said there's one thing you can't put a price on, and that's peace of mind.
Tell me about it. And that
So
life don't give you peace of mind
all right. So
at all.
for me, the peace of mind is worth it.
That's good. That's good. All right. I got this question. I loved it. I loved it when I read it because the song that even came to my mind, I busted out laughing. So it says, if your early life had a soundtrack, what would the rhythm be? What would be the rhythm of the toughest times? What would be that sound?
Oh gosh. What would be that sound?
Yeah, what would be the song? What would it be?
Gosh, I just think probably Rick Ross, man. Every day we
Wow.
hustling.
Ugh.
Every day we hustling.
Oh, wow. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And you can still apply that to now.
Like
Still
literally,
moving.
it's the hustle. It's the hustle. Like I call it the hustle mentality. And you said something about struggle, and I always say desperation breeds creativity. And in other words, it's when you're most desperate, that's when you become most creative. And that can even be in terms of, well, boy, if it means I gotta go and sell that quick, then I'll do it, And
it could be good or bad.
that's right. And I think even that hustler's mentality, like hustling is not always a negative term.
Yeah.
Like hustling can be defined as the ability to just work hard and keep working hard. So when you say people saying I'm hustling, it's like, I'm working hard to try and make things happen.
Yeah. That's good. All right. So can you remember a subtle sign or influence that suggested you were destined for more? even before you believed in yourself?
Ooh. No, it was. I think it was two things. I think number one, after I had that kind of ordeal of
Mm-hmm.
being, arrested and stuff, when I came back to London, I remember I had like a week. I was back for like a week, and my church within a young adults retreat, like a couple of days away.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I ain't going. Already back to
The
my,
rebellious spirit is back.
but something in my spirit said, just go.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I went and I encountered God in a way like I've never encountered him before.
Wow.
Like tears, crying, the presence was undeniable.
Wow.
And that transformed my life.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I said, okay, cool. Like your life is worth something. There's
Mm-hmm.
more to what you have.
Wow.
And then I think, if I'm being honest, whenever I've spoken, the way people have responded, it
Mm.
just let me knew I had a gift. And let me tell you
Okay.
why, right? There are some talks where I've had students come and share things with me after that I didn't ask them to share me.
Wow.
So I'll tell you two experiences in particular. There was one experience where after I taught this girl, I was like, oh, can I talk to you quick? I was like, yeah, sure, what's up? And she was like, look, I self-harm. But because of your talk today, I'm going to stop today.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I never knew there was someone in my audience who was self-harming. And my words impacted her to the level where she's prepared to stop instantly.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Instantly, right? Another situation, I spoke at a college.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the car park going to my car. The student chases me down. Hey, hey, hey. And I talked to her. I'm like, yo, okay, what's up? She goes, you saved my life. So what do you mean? She goes, last night
Mm.
and this morning, I tried to take my life.
Wow.
She goes, but after hearing you speak today, your talk has shown me that my life has a purpose. That's when I say thank you. You've shown me that my life means something.
Amazing.
I went back to that college 3 months later to go and see these students' final projects and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, right? And I remember I saw that same girl again. I didn't recognize her.
Look different.
She ran up to me and said, come look at my project. And I was just speechless. Just like, this can't be the same girl.
Wow.
The energy, the light that you're filled with, it doesn't make
Wow.
sense to me.
Wow.
But I remember what she said. You said, you saved my life.
Mm.
And that's when I was like, you've got something here. So those sort of moments to find that this is bigger than me.
Yeah.
You really do have a gift in speaking. This isn't about getting paid. This
Mm-hmm.
isn't about having a name. This isn't about being on stages.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally about changing lives. Right. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I was like, I can't take what I do for granted. And someone said it to me, and I said, it's so true. When you speak, you're speaking to people's spirits.
Yeah.
So you can't take that lightly.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be held accountable for
Yeah.
what you say to people. And that's when I was just like, I've got a gift and I must look after the gift.
Cultivate it.
Motivate it.
Yeah. Wow. Sowing seeds into the hearts of men, that it will grow and bear fruit for the glory of the kingdom.
Right.
That's powerful. So good. So good. All right. So, you shared some struggles that you've went through, even the reasons for ending up in the struggle, and even stepping into the gift and recognizing what the gift has the ability to do. Share a moment that tested your resilience of even stepping into what it is that you're doing now, or it could even be while you're now operating in the gifting, in the purpose. But what is a moment that tested your resilience and how you broke through that moment?
Okay. I wasn't making enough money
Mm,
and I had to get a second job.
okay.
And the second job was at the rubbish dump. So you know when the dustbin man come and collect the rubbish every week?
Yep.
I worked where the dustbin man dropped the rubbish
Got it.
at the rubbish dump,
Mm,
right? And I remember I used to work 13-hour shifts. I would start work at 6 p.m. at night. I would finish work at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Mm.
And in that 13 hours, I got a 45-minute break, one 15-minute break, one half an hour break, right? And I'm doing it in the cold of night, winter,
Because it's outside. This is outside
outside, right?
operations. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know the difference between mice and rats,
Yeah,
but there's a big difference.
very.
Yeah.
At their size
Oh, yeah.
and aggression.
Okay. So I didn't work with mice, I worked with rats.
Wow.
And though you'll see the pile of rubbish, you could see 20 rats running through the rubbish.
And they're not frightened of you at all.
At all. They're just doing their thing, trying to get their food. I think the only thing that kept me sane
Mm-hmm.
was that they make you wear these steel cap toe boots. So that if these rats were to like run into your foot, you wouldn't feel it.
Okay.
That's the only thing that kept me sane. Like I ain't gonna feel it. I don't know.
I didn't
Right?
know it brushed me.
Now the crazy thing is, I remember being on the conveyor belt and you're separating the plastic from the cardboard from the paper, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember speaking to people. How long you been there, bro? Been there 5 years. I'm like, 5 years at the
5 years.
rubbish dump. I
Wow.
remember like on one of my breaks, just talking to my supervisor, the
Mm-hmm.
boss man, like, how long you been there? 15 years. The 15 years at the rubbish dump.
Wow.
And I remember saying to myself, that ain't my portion.
Come on.
I said, I might be at the rubbish dump, but my vision ain't the rubbish dump.
Mm-hmm.
I said, one day I'm gonna be successful. One day I'm gonna make enough money from speaking. And I say that to say, I have a saying that people know me for kind of, where I said the grind ain't glamorous.
Mm.
And sometimes you have to do the things you hate in order to get the things you love.
Yep.
Right? There was nothing glamorous about working at a rubbish dump. It
Nothing.
stank. It's everything. It was cold. But that was part of me saying, you know what? I ain't gonna go back to the roads and do things the wrong
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do things the right way.
Yeah.
So if it means I have to get a second job to pay my bills, then I'll do exactly that. And that's exactly what I did. And that kind of put a fire in my belly.
Okay.
I was like, I never want to be in a position where I ever have to work at the rubbish dump again.
Mm.
And that really gave me the motivation that I needed to just
Drive.
excel in my career as a speaker.
Wow. Talk about humility for a few moments, because if there's anything that will humble you, is working at the garbage dump.
Yeah.
That will humble a person real quick.
quick.
Let's talk about humility and how that has served you for the season that you're in now.
Yeah, for sure. I think because I never wanted to be a speaker,
Mm-hmm.
I've always been authentic.
Okay.
I've always been real, So I think that humility of I never got into it for the glitz and glamour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always stayed with me. I've always been true to the cause.
Mm.
Like I didn't look at another speaker and say, "Oh, I want to be like you."
Mm.
I just kind of started finding out about speakers and that people got paid to speak as I got into the industry. So for me, I think that humility of I never did this for the money in the first place,
Wow.
has always kept me grounded. And I think when you enjoy what you do, you're
Mm-hmm.
prepared to do it for free.
Yep.
And there's been many occasions where I've done my job for free.
Mm.
And those moments keep you humble. Or I've done it for a fee where I could command way more.
Mm-hmm.
But I remind myself, well, is it about the fee or is it about the impact? And
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, we've all got bills to pay.
Absolutely.
But I would just remind myself at times, do a free talk,
Mm-hmm.
take a pay cut. Those things help to keep you grounded,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of what keeps me humble. And I think above all, it's the impact, man. It's so fulfilling when someone says you changed my life.
Yep.
I've had people that will message me 5 years, 10 years after I've spoken. I remember when you spoke.
Wow.
And if that doesn't humble you, I don't know what else will. Like I have kids that I spoke to who were kids who are now teachers and want me to come and speak in their school because of the impact I had on them.
When they were in school.
Because they were like, I'm a teacher today because of you. I need you to work your magic on these kids like you did on me.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's humbling.
Yeah.
So when I get like DMs like that, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, it just shows me that you don't realize the impact that you have at
Mm-hmm.
times.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I know the power of the impact you can have. That keeps me grounded. That keeps me humble because for me, every life is precious
Every
and I
life.
don't take it for granted. So, because I understand the preciousness, the delicacy of your life,
Mm-hmm.
that keeps me grounded.
And even the power of that, right? Because now we're talking about generational impact. You know, from one generation to another, the word is going forth and it's shifting minds that then shift the next generation. That's amazing. And if that's not kingdom, I don't know what is. You know, because I think that's something that's missing in business a lot, and the Lord is doing something about that in this season, that we need to connect what we're doing in the marketplace to the kingdom for kingdom advancement. Another thing I wanted to touch based on what you said about even doing it for free, right? And the heart behind it, because motive for what we do is everything. You could still have an outcome of greatness, an outcome of impact, and an outcome of influence. And the fruit in the spirit realm does not produce because your motive to do what you were doing was incorrect, even though you helped people, even though you, whatever it is that you did, and it helped people, which is great. But in the spirit, it didn't serve the way it should have because your heart was in the wrong place. You did it to gain, you did it for yourself. So when we're talking about even doing things for free, it's even the principle of seed time and harvest. You sow a seed, you give time, you reap a harvest. The harvest isn't always 100-fold. Sometimes it can be 30, sometimes it can be 60, other times it can be 100. And I think that can come to the fact of what you did with your heart behind it when you dropped the seed, and then how you took care of the seed during the time. Did you nurture it? Did you water it? And if there's one thing I've learned over the years before Christ and then giving my life to the Lord and growing and maturing in Christ, is that anytime that I gave my time for free, that I assisted people for the fact that I wanted to help, not because I wanted anything out of it, I've reaped bountifully. And the fact that that principle works, whether you're a believer or an unbeliever, it's just now I understand it because I'm a believer. It's something that we can put into practice. It's a principle, but it's the heart behind it from the beginning. If your heart is not in the right place to help people, to see them excel, to see them win, to see them overcome, the fruit is only going to go so far, if it would even bear fruit. So I just wanted to touch on that because that's important. Yeah, we want to make money. Yeah, we got bills to pay. Yeah, we want to drive in nice cars. Yes, we do. We want it. I do too. But seeing a life changed, assisting someone in business that they can become who it is that the Lord has destined for them to be, and I sold into that, or somebody was destitute in a situation. We got, and I'm more going to lean to young women. They're out here sleeping around, and I can share my story, and that causes you to get yourself off these streets and close your legs. Yes, please, and walk in purity. Absolutely. That far exceeds the Lamborghini Urus. You know what I mean? Because now it's a life changed that will then change the next generation. So we have to want to, in our personhood, in our business, in the branding that we're putting together, that we want to help people, and that our purpose, our reason why, right? The purpose why you're doing something is so important if you want to be fruitful. That's the secret for this one. The reason. Because to then say you're now a motivational speaker who's international, and it wasn't your desire, it's just that you wanted to see people win, and you recognized that you had a gift that can impact people, and then you cultivated it so you could do something to reach more people. That's powerful. So good. So good. All right. What personal doubt or fear did you have to defeat before you could inspire others to believe in themselves?
I think it was just believing you're good enough.
Mm,
Because at times
that's a
when
big deal.
you've got a history,
Mm-hmm.
you think how can I be on stage saying what I'm saying with my past?
Yeah.
And I'll give an example. I talk about failing some exams. And I used to think, how can I be telling you how to pass your exams when I failed mine?
Mm.
It didn't make sense to me. But then the Lord told me that, well, the inspiration is helping them to avoid the mistakes that you made.
Yeah.
So it's okay to share your story.
Mm-hmm.
Your story doesn't disqualify you, it actually qualifies you to be on that stage.
Yep.
And that's what I had to kind of deal with. It was learning that my story actually qualifies me and doesn't disqualify me. And I think those were some of the doubts that I had, especially at the start, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, because of my story, because of my past, I'm not good enough. Someone like me shouldn't be on stage. And I'm not a trained speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I've not been to any speaking courses. I ain't got a speaking coach.
Yep.
Times have changed, whereas back then there wasn't any of that. So it was, who am I to empower these young people? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like I was the best example. But then I realized they ain't looking for this glamorous package.
Mm-hmm.
They just need someone who is gonna just keep it real and give them the message that they need. And it took me a while, and that's why I said to you, it took me 2 years before I really understood the gift I had with speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started taking speaking seriously. Because in that 2 years, guess what? I was battling with doubt.
Yeah.
I was battling, is this really for me?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see myself doing this for the rest of my life? All those sort of questions were coming up, and I weren't sure. And it took me literally 2 years. And I just had that moment where I said, yeah, this is for me.
So for the person, because I'm thinking about the audience, right? So we've
Mm-hmm.
got people who, they're embarking on their journey of building their brand, whether it's a personal brand, whether it's a business brand. They're new to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're building from scratch. They're doing their foundation. They want to do their strategy. They want to get to a place that they're doing content. And maybe they're even there right now and having an income strategy. They want all of this. But what they're struggling with is, can I? Do I have am I qualified? Number one. Two, do I have the ability? Will people buy? Will people listen? Will people engage with me? All of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
My sound, my look. I can tell you how many things I went through with, oh man, being on a podcast, like
Mm,
my face,
mm,
my weight, my
mm,
all these things, the way I speak.
mm,
Sometimes my American accent will come through, then my English accent will come through, and
mm.
all these things, right? My personality, I'm quirky, and all of these things, and I would disqualify myself um, just from those thoughts. So for the person out there that is having that moment, what can you say to them in this moment to get them to rise above that, to step into what it is that the Lord's put on their heart?
I think there's so many things that can be said, like knowing why you're doing it and etc. But I think the key thing is believing yourself.
Mm,
And when I say believe in yourself, I don't say it to be cheesy, but there's so much power behind belief, right?
so good.
Belief is the force that actually triggers you into taking action, right? And it's the taking action that produces the desired outcomes that you want.
Mm,
But you ain't gonna take action if the belief ain't there. So I always tell people, before you can do something physically, you first of all have to be able to do it mentally,
mm-hmm,
right? What is that mental aspect? That mental aspect is, I need to believe that I'm good enough. So even when I'm coaching people and speaking and I'm helping them to overcome the fear of public speaking,
mm-hmm.
one of the things I educate them on is, you need to believe in yourself first, and then you need to believe in your message and know that your message has value. Because the moment you believe in your message,
Yep.
you ain't worried about whether people are gonna like you or not.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't worried about whether they're gonna clap for you. You ain't worried about whether they're gonna laugh at your jokes.
Yep.
Because in a crowd of 200 people, my message is powerful enough to change one life. And I
Wow.
just need to change one life.
That's it.
And one life is worth it.
Yep.
So it comes down to belief.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're saying, I want to build a brand and I want to do this and I want to do that, then you've got to believe in yourself
Yep.
and you've got to believe in your vision. So
Yes.
if you don't believe, and that's, I think those are the two things. I think you've got to believe in yourself, but you also have to have a vision.
Come on.
All right? Because you can't achieve something that you can't see.
Come on.
I'm going to tell you two examples of how my vision and belief has got me through open doors. 2017, I said to myself, I'm going to become an international motivational speaker this year.
Okay.
I had no international connections, didn't know how it was going to happen, but I just believed I was good enough.
Yes.
I believed at some point an opportunity is going to come for me to speak abroad. 3 months into the year, I got an invitation to go and speak at a church in Aberdeen in Scotland. Went to the church, great talk, came back. I was excited, said, yeah, I'm an international speaker. Told you that I was going to do it. My friend said, why are you so excited? I said, I'm an international speaker now. He goes, bro, you were still in the UK.
Wow.
I was like, okay. I was like, say no more.
Wow.
So you know what I did? That gave me fire in my belly, though. So I said,
help, Lord, with the friend circle.
you
Please.
know, yeah, it'd be your own.
Yes,
It'd be
it
your
do.
own, right?
Gunshots.
So I said, I will be an international speaker this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I will speak outside of the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't let it knock me. I made
Yeah.
it motivate me.
Come
so I
on.
changed the goalpost a bit.
Fuel to the fire.
3 months later, I got an invitation to speak in Geneva in Switzerland.
Wow.
They
That's
like,
not the UK.
okay, now, come on now. We Europe.
Yeah.
English
We
ain't their
out
first
there.
language. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was they liked me so much in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
They've literally been flying me out to Switzerland every single year
Wow.
since 2017. I was there twice this year.
Mm-hmm.
They've already said they want me back next year.
Nice.
They actually said the same organization, like, oh, we want to take you to Austria next year as
wow.
well. The guy that organizes the programs from South Africa, he goes, when you're ready, come to South Africa.
Okay.
And this is what I'm saying. It started with me believing in myself
Mm-hmm.
and having a vision to say, look, I do see myself speaking in other countries.
Mm-hmm.
I do see myself getting on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
I do see myself impacting
Come
lives,
on.
regardless of your culture or your region that you're in, right? Then another opportunity, right? I was at a conference, you know, networking and promoting my business. It was at a football stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I opened the door, I went onto the pitch, I looked around and I said, you know what? One day I'm going to be motivating professional football teams.
Yep.
I didn't know how, I didn't know when. I just said one day. I got an opportunity 4 years later.
Wow.
And it was Tottenham Football Club.
Hey.
And they're a Premier
North
League.
London.
North London.
Come through.
Hometown.
Hey.
It was an academy team, right? And I was just like, I didn't even start at the bottom. It took me straight to the top.
Wow.
The Premier League is the #1 league in the world.
Wow.
Let alone the UK.
Okay.
And I'm working with academies now in the Premier League.
Wow.
I said, that's because of belief. Because I just believed I was good enough. I believed I have a message that these players can benefit from.
Yep.
To the extent where I'm even going to share something I've never shared anywhere before.
Oh, please do. Let it be.
Right.
Visible secrets.
I'm officially now a mindset coach for professional athletes.
Wow.
So if you're struggling in your career, you know, you're not getting selected,
Mm-hmm.
you know, training, your mindset, you're questioning your ability, I work with you and get you back to being a high performer.
They need to come see you.
That's right.
Nice.
And that's, again, belief.
Okay.
And if I tell you opportunities.
Tell it.
Opportunities have been coming, put it that way, that people are putting me in touch with certain professional footballers to work with them.
Wow.
And that all started from just believing I was good enough.
Come on. The power of the mind, the power of belief, the power of words, right? You even speaking some things now, and 2025 looks on the up and up because of belief. So we're calling out for more Premier League. What do we call them? Premier League
football players.
No, but not just the players, but even the
teams,
the teams.
academies.
Is there another name that they say for teams? Like, do they say
clubs, football
clubs? That's it. I knew there was. I knew it was something. I'm from the US, y'all. Well, you know, there's a mix up. All right, so more Premier League football clubs, more football players on your roster, people that you're helping to arise and shine, as the word of God would say, to step up, to shine bright. That their skill sets, we got winning teams because they're on it. Winning teams,
right.
You know, that's what managers want. That's what owners want. They want a winning team, and the winning team has the right mindset. So holla at Mr. Beezy. Come on. We want that. You know, for me, you mentioned Netflix, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get a Netflix series.
That's right.
Yeah, this life has been wild, and people need to learn from it.
That's right.
You know, so yeah, 2025 is looking amazing with having the right mindset. And when you see this, where Q1, is your Q1 even planned? The vision, is it laid out in goals? Do you have things that you're accomplishing each week to get to the goal of the end of quarter one? And then you know what you're doing for quarter two because you already have your annual goal, which then all aligns with the vision for your life. All of that is important. But we're going to help you with that on Visible Secrets. We're going to help you. If you don't know, you're going to know. 2025, your life's going to be different. I know my life is going to be different. We already know. And when you go to Switzerland or Austria, I need to be there. When you go to Africa, I need to be there. I'll be right there too. We go empower these people. We're going to lift them. We're going to send them into greatness. All right. So we touched on branding a little bit. So I think we're gonna unpack this for a little bit. So even for you, with being now an international speaker, what is the blueprint? If anything, share 3 foundational blueprints that are in operation for you that your brand is making an impact.
I think consistency in your message.
Mm-hmm.
So, funniest thing happened to me yesterday. When I run like a football session on a Monday evening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the players that hasn't been in a while, came. The first thing he said to me was, "Morning champions." And if you watch my social media, that's how I start my stories every single day. So I'll do this about 1 minute motivational messages every morning when I'm going to the gym.
Okay.
And I always start the message as "Morning champions."
Yes. Dark as all get out while you're walking down the street.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So because I was consistent in that message,
Mm-hmm.
it's now become a brand.
Yep.
To the extent where I even asked someone else, how do I start my stories? They said "Morning champions." I said, so it's worked. So consistency.
Yep.
You have to be consistent in your message.
That's good.
Then of course things like branding in terms of colors,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I say what brand comes to you when you think of red and yellow, what brand comes to your mind?
Red and yellow. I think of the flag. Sorry. That's yeah.
Okay, I think of McDonald's.
Oh.
But that's because of how
I don't
powerful.
think of Mickey D's.
But that's how powerful.
But if you had said the arches, I would have got you.
But my point is, the brand is so powerful that I've associated certain colors with their brand. Today I'm wearing a branded hoodie.
Yep.
No grind, no grit. So my message is now coming through.
Yep.
But then
Constantly.
also my colors of black, red, and white. So when you see black, red, and white, you will think of Mr. Beezy.
Yep.
So you have to be consistent in the messages you're sending them, whether it's verbally, visually,
Yes.
physically.
Yep.
If your messages are consistent, that's how you establish a brand. There are
That's
some
good.
phrases that I've said that I didn't even realize was a thing until people said it back to me.
It's just your language.
Right? So you also have to be able to pick up things that your audience is receiving.
Yep.
Because you might not realize, but your audience will just say something and you have to have the alertness to be like, oh, we can brand that.
Yep.
Right? So I think
it's
those
branded
are
itself. It's made a mark.
Like, do you know what I'm saying?
So good.
I think if you can tap into those key elements, that will literally help you to build the foundation of your brand.
That's good. So here we're talking about brand tone. That would be the language in the industry, how you sound, right? Then what you're saying, what you're delivering, how you deliver it. So I know one thing for my brand tone is always warm, is empathetic. Yet I am quirky, but then I'm firm. So we can have fun, but I'm gonna tell you like it is.
Yeah.
Get your life.
That's
Real
me
talk.
as well. I'm funny and I'm serious.
All at the same time. All at the same time. And that's part of your brand tone. Then we're talking brand identity, right? Your colors, even wording, right? All of those things are important. And that is a part of your brand strategy. First you got to have your foundation, then you got to step into your brand strategy. And that is building a whole entity that can be delivered that people can resonate with and remember, that every time they see it, they think of you. So sorry, McDonald's, the colors didn't catch me, but them arches caught me because I love them fries. I'm staying away from the fries though, because
I feel you.
Yeah,
I feel you.
we got 2025 got a little different.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. All right. So with so many motivational speakers out there, we got quite a lot. We got some who are great, phenomenal. We've got some maybe not so much, but their voice is still out there. With so many motivational voices out there, what invisible principle sets your message apart as genuinely transformative?
I think understanding there's enough room for all of you. So I ain't ever phased by another motivational speaker.
So good.
Secondly, I don't know if you can match my energy.
Hey.
I'll step on stage with anyone. I'll go toe to toe with any speaker.
That's really good.
Like, and I don't say that as to challenge them.
Yep.
But I'm just saying my energy is unmatched.
Okay.
Like, if anyone can match my energy, it's probably the guy that inspires me, which is Eric Thomas.
Okay.
Who's the number one.
Hey.
And he ain't gonna be number one forever.
Shout out to E.T.
So,
we learning.
You my guy, E.T.
Yeah, we learning.
But I'm coming after you. You know what I'm saying? Someone got to take over the throne,
Hey.
And I'm just saying I'm in line, And I say that to say, so for me, I think the thing that's always stuck with me, because I never wanted to be a speaker, there's a rawness, there's a realness, there's an authenticity that I have that I feel just separates me from the crowd. And because it's a gift.
Sure enough.
I train people. Everyone I train doesn't have a gift in speaking. Doesn't mean you can't learn the art of speaking.
Let's talk about it.
But when you have a gift in speaking, you can't be touched. That's why you can send me to any country, any arena, technology, no technology, lighting, no lighting, microphone,
no microphone.
It don't matter. As long as I got my voice, I'm going to have impact. And not everyone can deliver. Some people need the gadgets. Some people need a presentation behind them.
They
Some people
need
need a microphone. Some people need the smoke.
They need the smoke.
I don't need no smoke.
Hey.
The smoke come out my mouth.
Hey, come on, bring the fire.
So I think for me, one thing that separates me is I'm just always ready to go.
Okay.
Because I understand it's my gift.
Got it. So good. Okay, a thought came to mind before I jump to this next question. Because when you... Let me just call her out. So Cheryl Porter, she's a voice coach for singing. She's phenomenal. She's really good. And she was sharing recently about people with the gift and then people who don't have the gift. And I think this is important to touch because sometimes people with the gift can just rely on the gift. She was speaking of that sometimes there'll be people who come with the gift, they can sing, but they don't practice. They don't put time in. They don't stretch. They don't learn anything new. They just sing, right? And then there's those who don't have the gift, but they practice continuously so they can operate in the talent. And there'll be times that the person who doesn't have the gift, but they put in the time, just shoots past the person with the gift because they put in the time. They learned, they increased, they stretched, their capacity increased. So touch on that for a few moments of, yes, you can have the gift, but not relying on the gift because the gift can only take you so far.
I love this question. See,
help the people.
There's a saying that says hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Ooh.
So you can be talented, but if you ain't hard working, there's only so far your talent can take you. And that's why I say, once you're talented, your talent will take you so far, then hard work's going to take you the rest of the way. So you might see me as a speaker today, but don't get it twisted. You have to understand, I've spoken a minimum of 2 to 3 times every single week for the last 14 years.
Wow.
So that's beyond practice. That's mastery. All right. So that's why I can call myself an expert speaker, because I've done it so much that it is second nature. Speaking to me is like brushing my teeth in the morning. I don't have to think about it.
Okay.
Right. And so when you're talented, it leads me on to one of my favorite sayings where I say, you never get too comfortable. And the issue with talented people is you get comfortable because you're talented. And complacency is the quickest way to kill success.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a film, Batman: The Dark Knight Rises, I think it is.
Okay.
Where there's a scene
Keith Ledger.
where Batman, is it Heath Ledger?
Heath,
I remember.
Keith? Okay.
No, it wasn't Heath Ledger actually.
No,
But there's a scene where
it's Batman.
Batman is fighting this the villain Bane, and they're in the sewers underground kind of thing, and but Batman's thing, he can see in the dark, he can
All the
get his
things,
little
all the
gadgets out, you
gadgets.
know what I'm saying? And they're doing their thing, and Batman's losing. I'm like, the hero's not meant to lose.
Okay.
But Bane said a line that stuck with me forever. He said, because Batman's trying to do everything, gadgets, knock out the lights, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Batman, your success has defeated you.
Ooh.
And what he meant by that is, because everything you're trying to do right now, you're trying to rely on your talent. You're trying to rely on the things that have brought you success in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that brought you success in the past won't necessarily bring you success in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you have to keep adapting.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can't rely on your talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, yo, that's deep.
Yeah.
Your success has defeated you. So, in other words, to your question, to make it relevant, for some of you who are listening, your talent has defeated you because you've got so comfortable with your talent that you've stopped working hard.
Wow.
And that's what's going to be your downfall. Not that you ain't talented.
Mm-hmm.
We don't question your talent.
Mm-hmm.
What's destroying you is your lack of hard work.
Wow. Just gonna let that sit for a minute. Because there's a simmer. Yeah, there's a simmer. That was a hard statement, but it was a real one. Because we all want to be successful. But the success that you have up till now can't get you to where you're going in the future. So what are you doing to shift? What are you doing to change? What are you doing to grow? So you can continuously be successful. And not in the same thing either. It's going from glory to glory, from one level to the next. We're not supposed to stay here. There's more. There's more to accomplish. There's more to gain. There's more people to touch. There's more to do. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck. For someone who is stuck and unsure of their next move, how can your brands approach and how you approach building your brand, managing your brand, maneuvering in your brand, how can that help guide them towards action and momentum?
I think the key thing is understanding what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't actually have a destination, then you've got no direction, right? So you have to first of all set yourself a destination.
Yep.
Your destination determines your direction, right? So, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I just don't know what I want to do. What do you enjoy?
Yep.
From what you enjoy, what are 3 things you can do that you can make a career out of?
Yep.
Right? You've got to shortlist things. Does that make sense? And then start with one.
Yep.
Right? Okay, cool. So I want to be a speaker. How do I start out? Speak for free? You set up a website? Do you start recording videos on your iPhone
Mm-hmm.
or whatever phone you have?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got to identify what you want first and then you scale it back. So you've got to start from the end
Yep.
and then work your way back. Does that make sense? So
Absolutely.
once you get the destination, that literally maps out where you should start.
Yes.
So if you don't even know what you want to do, then we can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to identify what you want
what
to
it
do.
is.
We can't tell you this is what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can tell you to do something and you might struggle with it because you was
Your
never meant
heart's
to do that.
your heart's not in it.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the key thing is discovering things that you enjoy first,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then making a decision on, okay, even if it's 3 options I have, I'm going to select one. And based on that, that's now going to map out my starting point. I think once you know your starting point, you get to figure out everything on the way. And let me tell you why that's so key. Because you're not always going to have everything figured out.
Yeah.
And I think the issue is people want everything figured out. They want all the answers.
All of it.
Right? So
I get it. I've been there.
so I always say that the first thing is just identify your starting point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And from your starting point, your path will start to map itself out.
So good. So I'm going to add to that because this is my language. So you need a vision, right?
Yeah.
That's really what we're talking about here. Having a vision, knowing where you're going, and then we can lay out the mission of how we're getting there. So I think one of the things with the vision of on top of is something that you enjoy. What problem are you solving? What problem is out there in the world, in the area that you enjoy,
Yep.
and you can now solve that problem? Because to build any service to people, whether it's a product or a service, it needs to solve a problem or no one's going to need it.
That's
right? So you need to be solving a problem. Then we can work out the vision, the mission, right? How you're going to get there, and then your why. Once we have a brand foundation, then we really can start making moves. That's where people like Mr. Beezy, people like myself can come in and really assist you in building yourself to become. So in the world of speaking, once you know who you want to reach and why you want to reach them and your reason and the different things that you want to do to be able to get there, you need to get into this coaching, right? You want to be the best in your arena in sports, you know who to get with. He's going to get you there. If you want to become a speaker and you want to be able to travel the world of encouraging and empowering people, this your guy. You want to build your brand and your brand becomes something that impacts and empowers people's lives, holla at me. If you need to do the foundation, build the foundation, yes. If we need to work out goals of how you're going to get there and how we break down those goals of what you're going to do weekly to get there, holla at me. Because coaching people that you align with, get in your circle, help you to get there. So don't stay stuck by yourself trying to figure it out on your own. But the key piece is you need to know what you want to do. Once you have that, get the help, get the coach, get the assistance so you can increase, that you can enlarge, that you can map out a plan, that you know the way that you're going with a plan, with an execution plan to get there. The support is needed. I can't do this on my own. I can't. I need help, right? So there was the structuring and all of that other stuff. But okay, what about my guests? Who am I gonna have conversations with that really bring out what's necessary to help the people get to where they need to go? And then there's all the admin behind it that needs to happen, and those things that need to be put in place, legalities, all of that. You need people. You need people who know what they're doing. So you got to tap in. Don't try to do it on your own, but just at least have the first step of knowing where you want to go, and then start reaching out to people who are going to walk that journey with you to help you get there. And this makes me even think of ET at this moment, right? Because, you know, there's a price. He talks about that. There's a price to pay to be able to get to the next level. If you need a coach, you got to pay for a coach. You need assistance, you got to pay. So this thing of not wanting to pay for anything, like get out of it. Stop it. Even for the life that we have in Christ Jesus, like there was a cost. He gave up his life that we could have life. Anything that costs is worth it. Not that there's no room for things that are free, but for things that are worth it, there is a cost, and that thing is going to take you to the next level. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. So as we get ready to close up, I mean, you've shared so much. We've touched your story, your business, your brand, and how just encouraging people of how they can build their own brand to be an impact. What is it that you would like to share with the audience before we go, whether it's, for life, whether it's for their business, like whatever's on your heart to share with the people, feel free.
Yeah, I think it's literally kind of what you said. Like, stop being afraid of investing in yourself. I think so many people want to do things, but they don't necessarily want to invest in the help that's going to help them to get there.
Mm-hmm.
If I can encourage anyone that's listening today, it's literally to be like, invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And investing in yourself isn't always financial. It might be reading that book.
Yep.
It might be going to that seminar. It might
Mm-hmm.
be getting that coach. It might be just hours studying videos online and whatever it is. But just invest in yourself,
So
invest in
good.
your knowledge, and also understand that you get to a point where you can't do everything by yourself. So invest in a team,
Mm-hmm.
right? I always say hire the experts to do what the experts do. It's okay that in the beginning, maybe if the money's not there, you do a lot of the tasks for yourselves. But
Yeah.
as you begin to grow, as you begin to get experience, understand the importance of a team. Like there's only so far you can go by yourself. You can go so much farther when you've got a team with you. You know,
So
get
good.
someone who's mastered social media, get someone who's a brand expert like yourself, get someone who's great at marketing, get someone who's good at admin, get someone who's good at sales, get someone who's good at managing money.
Yeah.
Just get everyone that you need to get a videographer, get a photographer, whatever
Yep.
it is that you need. Make the necessary investments because I promise you it will just take you to a level that you have never experienced before.
So
And so
good.
I just want to encourage people to literally invest in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so key.
Okay, so you said something, and then we'll close out because this is something that I'm seeing now being here in London. Um, the the vibes and the culture is different from
Mm,
the U.S. from what
mm,
I'm used to. So, and this is just my opinion and my experience from what I'm seeing. It might not be what's happening everywhere in London. It's just what I'm seeing, and that is everyone is for themselves. Like they're my
mm,
business,
yeah.
my business, my business. Very, it's tunnel vision
Mm,
where working together, collaboration. How can I help you? How can you help me?
mm,
How can I serve someone else with my gifts, with my talent and such? I don't see that much. The networking. That not that networking doesn't happen, but it's not the type of networking of showing up at a networking event. Like, let me see who I can help,
yep.
who's in my roster.
Mm-hmm,
Let's see who I can meet here to help. Like I think of Rena, and Rena right now is pushing her book,
mm,
right? And
mm,
she's wanting to get into spaces to talk to women about becoming a wife, becoming
mm,
a woman that a man would desire to marry, right? These are the
mm-hmm,
things that she's working on right
mm,
now. And,
mm,
all right, so maybe she's wanting to sit in women empowerment groups and stuff like that because that's her audience.
mm-hmm,
So while I'm in that networking environment, I'm looking for people who do you have a women empowerment group? Oh,
mm,
okay.
mm,
I should connect you to,
mm,
she'd be a great speaker for you. She has a
yeah.
book already, a
Mm,
devotional, all these things. Like going in with a mindset not for yourself, but for your network because that's your network really is your
your net worth,
wealth,
yeah.
or just that mindset of how can I help others. I'm not seeing that here. It just seems very, very closed off. And what can you say, because you've been rooted here, how can we unlock that? How can we break it off that we can now build a people? Because I don't even think it's I don't know if it's a culture thing in London. I don't know if it's a race thing. Like I don't know. I haven't been here long enough, right? But
Mm-hmm,
there is something here about it's just me, myself, and I and my business. And it's like you yourself and your I and business, you ain't gonna get nowhere.
mm,
We need each other to help each
mm.
other. We make room for each other. We open doors for each other. That's missing here. What's happening?
Um, I think everything stems back to fear.
Okay.
And what I mean by fear is I don't want to put you on because you might take what's mine,
Oh, wow.
right? And what I mean by that is so people want to see you do well, but not better than them, right? So if I identify you've got a gift, people are like, whoa, that's dangerous.
Oh,
Rather than seeing this as a blessing, it's seen as danger. And I think that's a big culture that we have in the UK where it's like you see someone who's talented, you see that you can put them on, and you're like, if I put them on, I might lose. Because you feel like you might lose, You don't want to bring people to certain events.
Wow.
You don't want to put them through certain doors, and that's why there's a lack of growth.
Mm,
That's why there's a lack of collaboration. I remember even in my career, people told me, "Oh, us working together is a conflict of interest," because they were scared of my gift. They
mm,
thought that, oh, if I come into that environment, I'm going to end up taking their client. In actual fact, there's room for both of us to work with that client.
mm-hmm.
But your mindset is, oh, he's too good. I don't even want to introduce him. I don't even want him to see certain content I'm delivering because if he sees what works well, he's very good at adapting things and he going to make it better than mine. So I don't even want him to be around when I'm delivering certain content. So there's a fear,
Okay.
and you need to get rid of the fear.
Absolutely.
Like, and that comes down to knowing your worth.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I coach. I literally bring my clients to my clients. That I bring my coaching clients to
Mm-hmm.
my school clients
Wow.
so that they can get booked with that school that I work with, that I built a relationship with. Why? Because I ain't scared.
You bring what you bring.
You understand? And I know that I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe that even if you're better than me, then you deserve it. Because I want the best for the
For that
people,
person. Yes.
So, and again, but I always say there's room enough for
All of
all of
us.
us. This whole like you're gonna take what's mine, or
Wow.
it ain't even yours.
Wow.
Like,
So I'm gonna touch on something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I want to speak to the UK. I want to speak to London because y'all my people. Okay. And it happens in the US too. So y'all get your life. Um, we have our gifts. We have our talents. There's always going to be somebody who's great and greater, right? But it's owning what you have and do well with what's been given to you. Do well with it. And we need collaboration. So, for instance, my thing is I'm in ministry, I minister to hearts, I empower people, I call them up higher, take them from where they're at and call them up higher to where God has called them to be, the gifting, the empowerment, the purpose that is on the inside of them. I've learned things about branding, I've learned things about vision, I have it in me, I've implemented these things and they've bore much fruit. I'm able to share that with the world to help them get to a certain place. But yet there's only so far that I can take them. And even as I grow, there will still only be so far that I can take them. There's going to be someone who can take them further. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, and if I was wise, I connect with that person
That's
who
right.
can take them further. Because once I get them here, here's the handoff. Now you need to go to this person because they're going to get you to a next place. You've done your time with me. We've gotten far. Now, for your next season, you need this person. And if we get in that mindset of collaboration, there's what I own, there's what I do and what I do well. And then we might be in the same industry, but you're in the next level or you cover a different area of it. We work together, we help each other. This is how we will impact more people. This is how we will grow. This is how we'll increase. This is how we'll gain more money. You know what I mean? Because I know that's a big deal. We're not going to sit here like money's not a thing. It is, right? But the more we work together, the more collaboration, the more we help each other, the more we think of others, the more we will grow, the more we will increase, the more we will make. So let me encourage you in this time. Connect, really network. Don't just go to networking events. Network with the purpose of helping someone else. When you have that mindset, you will be helped. Guaranteed. So let's change the narrative for 2025 in the UK, in London. Let's be a people that is making room for others to come up, the next generation, the same generation, whatever, that we're making room for each other to increase, to grow, to enlarge, to become, that we impact this world for the glory of the kingdom because of the purpose on inside of us. We're owning our marketplace. We're owning the mountain. We're dominating and we're making an impact that others will look at our lives and be like, I want that. All right, yeah, come. Let me show you how to do it.
Right.
That's the mindset that we got to have. It's the mindset that we do have. It just needs to be unleashed. So let it be unleashed. So thank you for joining us. That was a powerful conversation. I'm really glad that you showed up. We're going to do this more. We're going to chop it
Oh,
up some more.
definitely.
We're going
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
it. So let the people know how they can connect with you, what you have for them before we
Yeah,
close out.
so as I said, Mr. Beezy. I'm on all social media platforms. So Instagram is Mr_Beezy. My YouTube is The Real Mr. Beezy. My TikTok is The Real Mr. Beezy. My Snapchat is The Real Mr. Beezy. On LinkedIn, it's Mr. Beezy.
Hey.
MrBeezy.com, MrBeezyCoaching.com. So reach out to me on any social media platform. I'm on X, aka Twitter, the real Mr. Beezy again, and just feel free to reach out, guys. I'm more than happy to just have a convo with you and see how I can help for sure.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I'm glad you joined us. Don't come for me. I'm going to read it off of my iPad because I got an intro and an outro and I'm still learning it because I'm just starting. So what it is what it is. But you've just been a part of a powerful conversation on Visible Secrets. May the inspiration of this story and the hidden wisdoms revealed empower you to be authentic, build your brand, and go impact the world. Now go impact the world. It was a pleasure.
Ooh.